The show continues with our coverage of Woodbine 2026. Got some breaking news over on Twitter where our friend from Woodbine, Tony Elliott, lets us know that Woodbine's going to be expanding the $5 minimum pick three across major stakes days in 2026. That's going to include Saturday, May 30th, where we've got the Bet 365 Eclipse Stakes coming up, the Belle Mahone Stakes, and the Jacques Cartier Stakes. I assume this is going to extend to the biggest weekends, etc. Very, very good news. We'll have that day covered for you, and we'll have a lot of days at Woodbine from now till the end of the meet covered, starting with this Saturday. Peter Thomas Fornatel here, and I now bring in our man we love to turn to when it comes to all things Woodbine. He is many things. He is the business guy here at In the Money Media. He's also a former Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge champion. Drew Coatney, what's up, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm actually in the room at my in-laws' farmhouse where we talked about the win of the Breeders' Cup after the aftermath on Sunday. Believe it or not, I wasn't too hungover. I wasn't too groggy because I knew I had to get up and go grab some children. So here we are again. Maybe we can get some good juju going from this room from last time.
It has been a tale of close calls on your bankroll bets that you've been giving out, trying to make 10x on the money. You've had a couple of horses that had some great opinions and come very close to connecting. Will today be the day? Do you have something for us? We'll get to that at the end of the show if you do.
I have a late double. I'm going to, while we're talking, look and see if there's one other spot because goodbye are the days of short fields and sprints. Woodbine feels like it's back in full force, and they opened the can for us on this Memorial Day weekend. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But they're big fields. There's routes. There's sprints. There's a little bit of everything, except we have to wait a little longer for the turf to open up.
I was just going to say that's when it's really going to be in full effect. But we're getting there slowly but surely. We kick off. We'll look at the last four races on the Saturday card, kicking off with race number 8. Optional claimer. We're going 7 for 3-year-old and up. Phillies, how you want to light this candle, my friend?
You know, I wrote at the top of this, there's a lot of chances in this field, and then I landed at two shorter prices, so I kind of feel like an idiot in that regard. But I think the most logical horse here is the number 9 Texas Holiday, a speed horse who shipped down to Keeneland turf and speed and faded against a bit tougher of a group, and today cuts back in distance, could be maybe the loose leader from that outside post or pressing the speed at the very least. So I hope it's a pressing trip, and they don't use number 9 Texas Holiday way too much to get to the lead from that outside post. And then I think if things do heat up, the next best is the number 10, Just Magnificent. Could set up perfectly for this deep, deep closer. 7 furlongs, that stretches long at Woodbine, so may have enough time to catch up. And then I want to use a little bit of a long shot in here of the number 5, Lady Izzy. A jockey change with a horse who should sit the middle flight and has some clothes. And this 4-year-old still has some upside left. So freshening, new jockey, could pop at a big price.
9, 10, and 5 for Drew. Your second pick is my first, and you basically made the key point. I think Just Magnificent, with this deep closing style and all the speed signed on, is going to get the best trip and just proven around these type of conditions. I just wasn't going to overthink it. I thought 7-2 on the morning line would be a good price on Just Magnificent. I also wanted to bring in Bold Rapasso, the number 1 runner. McRae, good numbers in the relevant categories. And this is another one with what I think is going to be the right closing profile. I also respect Revelers Row, the 3 runner. 3-1 seemed maybe short enough, but a horse also who could sit a mid-pack trip if ready off the bench. Another filly I'd love to have on side. 10, 1, and 3 for me to kick things off. Let's pivot right away to race number 9, where we've got an allowance race going that mile and a 16th on the synth. I went with number 6, Hammerhead in here. Grade 1 winner on the synthetic, getting Lasix, a tard great in the relevant categories, and just a horse that fits on the figures and forms. I also, though, really do like English Actor as the potential pace play in this spot. Horse who absolutely has a chance to wire them. I could throw in some others. Those are the main 2 for me. I may throw in another 1 or 2, but maybe you're going to cover them with your analysis, Drew. So we'll start with what you think is going to happen here in race 9.
Yeah, I like the number 6 Hammerhead, even though I don't think you can trust that 96 buyer earned at the 1.5 mile distance. Sometimes those get a little screwy, but I couldn't go anywhere else. I was trying to fade this horse hard because I think this horse does want to go longer. And I think there's a lot of those types in here. So I'm going to put this one, the number 6 on top, Hammerhead, 5-2. You'll probably get 5-2, 2-1. And then I'm going to use a little bit of a long shot of the number 1 Lost Ark. I think just seems to like this distance, doesn't want to keep stretching out as the season goes on. And last out, we can cross the line through it going the 1.5 miles. I think they kind of proved that out. And there's enough figure earned in the back company to keep this one competitive in the bunch. So 6-1 for me, kind of keeping it skinny throughout the day.
The 1 Lost Ark was one that I would have mentioned if you hadn't. A horse just makes a lot of sense. That's the right kind of price profile to get one in that could unlock some payouts in this spot. Like the King is another one I think is obvious enough with the others we're using. If you're going to play exotic bets like the Exacta and Try, I wouldn't mind keeping on side. 6 and 3 for me on top, 1 and 2 on the bottom line, the B line, as it were. 6 and 1 to the hoop for Drew as we move our way along to another allowance race on the synthetic, going 7 furlongs this time. It goes as race number 10. Who wins it?
Yeah, number 3, Paramount Prince. I think you're going to get probably even money or 4-5. Speed, class, second off, could step forward, was dominating last out. And I think we'll get the rail if he wants it. I'm going to use a little bit of a saver in here of the long shot number 6, Cool Kiss at 20-1. Big drop in class. Should be stalking in the second flight if things heat up too much for Paramount Prince. But that horse is going to be real tough today. So 3 and 6 for me in this optional claimer event.
It's a pretty cool race, isn't it? I sort of undersold it when doing the preamble. Having a couple of former King's Plate winners in here certainly makes it sexy. I thought you might be able to take on Paramount Prince a little. So I'll be Oppo here, and I'll go with the other horse with the big form, Mancetti. To me, I felt like you could say that was an against the flow loss the last time. I think a more aggressive ride is due. I think this is basically an improving 4-year-old second off the layoff with great connections in a race where you do have Paramount Prince to maybe make the market a little bit. Rapid Test is the other one that I absolutely need to mention in this spot, just because there's a world in which the top 2 end up hooking up a little bit too early, and it could just set up for a horse, another horse second off a layoff, who's a potential improver in this spot. I was going to try to get out of here 4 and 1, but I in some combinations, it's not like I'm wildly against the 3 or anything. Paramount Prince, very likely win candidate. Any other deeper prices you want to throw in here? Or are you going to just leave it there with the 3 and the 6?
No, I think it's a great handicapping question here. Just going back and looking at the form, if I can go down a rabbit hole, if that's all right with you, Pete.
Please, we got time.
In number 3, Paramount Prince, 6-year-old, had been running his 5-year-old campaign in the just like 91, 91, 91, 81 in the grade 3 autumn. I think was overmatched with a couple like Dresden Road, who actually ran yesterday at Churchill. And then came in November and ran an 86, speed and fade, got caught up in a pace duel. So and my question is like, can a horse improve at 6? Because the figure shows that, or maybe the 7 furlongs is what woke this horse up, because everything else has been at the route distance. So I think that's my big question mark, because Manzetti on your case is 4. So kind of the football analogy, we've got a college kid going to the pros, and can they step forward as they become an adult in their horse racing life? And so both have 1 start in their year season. And I kind of go back and forth on like, maybe you're right here that there's more upside left in the tank. But what's your thought on when you see a 6-year-old making a second start and popping a big number at a different distance? Can that be the wake up, or is that maybe just noise?
No, it's hard to evaluate. I mean, a 6-year-old could still be improving. Absolutely. Like if you look at jurisdictions where they race horses for longer amounts of time, like jump racing in England, like 7 could be argued to be the physical peak. It's just such a weird thing for us because we don't see horses improving all that much at 6. But I mean, in this case, I wouldn't rule it out. But it's very hard to say anything definitively because, as you point out, there's so many different things in this equation that's hard to separate them out. But I wouldn't let that throw you off in this spot. I think that this is a race where there's a lot of different ways you could go. One other that I will throw in there as just a horse whose PPs, I'm not sure if he's going to be ready off the long layoff, But I just think on balance of the past performances, Twin Cities form is maybe just a little bit better than it looks. Couple of flow excuses in those last 3 runs. That's another one I'm going to just throw out there as one to have as more of a B type in this race. We'll see how it plays out on the track. Certainly a very interesting featured allowance race. It's basically a stake, except in name. Let's get to the last race on the card. The nightcap is the 7 furlong maiden special weight for the fillies, 3 and up. When it comes to all these late picks and your late double that you plan on playing here at Woodbine on Saturday, how are we going to get paid?
Yeah, and the late double is 9 and 10, so I misspoke there. But race 11, maiden optional claimer, a ton of consideration. I narrowed this down to 3 horses. The number 10, North York, 3-1. Should step forward, could be pressing on the speeds in here and not have to really pass too many horses. Number 13, No Frills, 12-1. As the name suggests, doesn't have a ton of flash to it, but was well backed on debut, took a layoff, and now we might be ready to fire after a slow start last out. And the number 7, Little Lola, 12-1. I don't think we're going to see 12-1. Expect like 6, 5-1 or so. Speed horse, if they let this one could get go, this one could get loose. Especially in these maiden optional claimers. I like horses who can get to the lead and don't have to show athleticism in trying to pass horses or navigate traffic. So it's just my angle with these. 7 furlong might be the equalizer and shoot that entire theory down. Like we said before, Woodbine has a long stretch, big sweeping turns, can make moves fairly easily along the rail.
2 of yours were also on my short list. I wrote you down 10, 13, and 7. I'm 10, 11, 7. I definitely get your case on Little Lola. North York, the 10 runner, just makes an awful lot of sense. Not any horse that you need to be too creative to make the case for, but one I think is a likely winner, and I did put right on top. A lot of gems, though. The 11 I thought was potentially pretty interesting. This is another second off the layoff type. I think you can pretty much just excuse that race last time, and I just liked what I saw on debut from her. I like the way she was just kind of sticking on late. I think now in the patient hands of Catherine Day Phillips, she could improve, and she could be something akin to that. Maybe not all the way, if she's live, maybe not all the way to 10-1, but I'd be very happy at 8 and even accept maybe down to 6. This is one where I think there could be some market signal potentially should she take money. And I think she's a real good one to try to get a live 2 in the pick. So I went 10, 11, 7 in this spot to your 10, 13, 7. Let's talk about some potential plays on the card, my friend.
Yeah, I've got the third race at Woodbine as my first play, trying to take 50 into 500, doing some of these numbers on the fly, so bear with us. But the number 6, Red Weaver, I think is going to be the speed in this race. Last out went 5 furlongs. That was probably a little bit too short today. They're going 6.5 furlongs in this optional claiming event. And again, I think just could be able to get looser, have a good pressing trip, and overall figures. I mean, just looking at some time form numbers, 87, 93 are the last 2. And you're betting against the 2 other favorites who are going to be probably the 5 and the 1 in here, who both earned a 74 and 75 in their only start of their careers. So I think you could get good value. Maybe even money is where the number 6 is going to end up. So we'll turn that 50 into 100. And then I'm going to roll that 100 right into the double with Hammerhead and Paramount Prince. And I think that's going to pay $4, $5. If Paramount Prince gets smashed, I could see Paramount Prince being 4 to 5, like I said earlier. So 2-1 into 4 to 5, and you put the 100 in and you get 500 out. So nothing too complicated. Maybe if there's a little bit of money left over and say that 100 is going to turn into 700, maybe I spread that around a little bit and do a little 6-1 with 3-6. So betting Hammerhead and Lost Ark in the first race and Dutching that with the 3 and the 6 in the second. That's Paramount Prince, the 3 and 6, the Cool Kiss, to try and get up to 500.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I was going to ask you that because you're in your first race. It really is a guess on what Red Weaver is going to pay. You got a few other horses in there who should be in the betting. And you might be right. And you're probably smart when you're budgeting to anticipate even money, but it also wouldn't shock me if he's 2-1. And then all of a sudden you've got twice as much money. And I was going to ask you, how do you handle that? And it's pretty simple. You just add more horses in those other legs, right? Is that basically how it works?
Yeah, yeah. When I'm helping coach and talk to people about contest plays specifically, but this is like what we're doing is mini contest plays and what's the effective use of capital. In this situation, I would rather get myself married to the 6 and get more capital to use more horses later instead of, hey, I want to go grab more horses and Dutch win bet this thing with the first leg in race 3 of the 6, and then say I take the third choice to Dutch it out to even money. I don't know. I would rather start off strong and then have the affordability in the double, which has more variability, to have a 2x2.
Yeah, I get that completely. Does that also just depend on your opinion of the race? I mean, if there was
Sure.
another horse you really liked in race 3, but that's the thing when you're making your own exotics, essentially, you're not. If you liked more horses in race 3, then maybe you'd pick a different race
Yeah.
completely. You don't have to be as locked in. It's one of the reasons why I like your approach to money management and why it served you well in contests, notably at the Breeders' Cup, but multiple other times as well, including last year when you cashed nice in the BCBC.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think it's the 3 years I've played, I've had a bankroll of 75,000 or more. So we're doing something right here.
Not bad, not bad. We'll see. We'll follow your contest journey. You have any other contest plans right now? You signed up for anything or have anything circled on the calendar?
No, I've been taking a break after the grade 1 gamble. I really try to do game selection. I think when you get into these smaller contests, a lot of my edge goes away because people are like, it's $1,000. I'm going to fire that anyways and hope for something chaotic. So I also like handicapping the Breeders' Cup form. I mean, it is the most fun day of racing outside of beautiful days at Woodbine when I'm touching grass out there. Someday we'll get up there.
It's so great. It's so much fun. Yeah, Susan said to me the other day, I miss going to Toronto in the fall. Part of it's been as our daughter parents gotten older, it's harder for us to get away collectively because there's always something going on here that we have to do. But for a number of years, that was our anniversary trip, happened to coincide with the Woodbine Mile. So we do, a day or two at the track and just enjoy the city. As I've said many times on these airwaves, Woodbine Mile almost always, as far as my experience, coincides with the Toronto International Film Festival too. And the weather's so gorgeous up there in September. Great breweries too. I want to get going when we get closer to one of the definite travel days up there. I'll give you my rundown on my latest favorite breweries up there in Toronto. Great eating and drinking city. So much fun. I'm going to try to get back probably for September rather than the plate. But hey, last year I did both. Maybe I can get back and do that if we can make the magic happen. Always like visiting there in person.
Well, just remember, those we're going to have those. There'll be a tax write-off because we'll be talking to clients. So make sure that we account for this appropriately, as the business manager would say.
We'll leave that production meeting. That's not a production meeting. We'll leave that business meeting outside the show. Thank you so much, Drew. Really appreciate you. Thanks to everybody out there for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel.